Mike Madrid.
Molly, great to be with you.
Diesel is $6 a gallon, right?
Yeah.
$6 a gallon. Donald Trump, as unpopular as he has ever been, underwater on everything from immigration to crime to cost of living to inflation. Uh, why did Republicans not see this coming?
I think the insular bubble within which they lived, I think, has burst, and they don't know what reality actually looks like anymore. But look, we're at that like post George W. Bush in year 7 phase when like you could blame the weather, bad weather on George Bush, and everyone's like, yeah, of course that SOB did this. I mean, that's where we're at. And it's going to keep getting worse, by the way. He's positive on no issue. There's not a single thing that he's touching that is working for him. I don't know what their message is going to be going into the midterms.
The thing is, we still have the summer. So it's May, and we're coming up on this gas price situation, right? Gas is really expensive. Americans hate paying for gas. They really do. Like, that is the one thing. It's a nonpartisan issue. The moment gas gets even a tiny bit more expensive, people get apoplectic. It's like we feel we are entitled to cheap gas.
I always thought it would be a million people dying in a pandemic,
No,
but no,
no,
it's $5 gallon gas.
it's the gas, and it's like anti-democratic stuff. Nah, it's
Nah,
the
it's
gas.
the
It's the
gas.
gas.
Yeah,
Yeah. Can you explain to us? You do a lot of polling,
yeah,
you follow the Latino vote really
yeah,
carefully.
yeah,
That is a vote that is sort of the new swing
yeah,
voters. Talk
exactly.
us through it.
That's kind of the new soccer mom, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what the difference is, like with soccer moms, there was an attempt to kind of appeal to what they were clearly telling the pollsters. Latinos are a little bit different because both parties are really struggling to kind of understand them because both parties believe, okay, this is a minority voter. Let's talk to them the way we've always talked to other minority voters. And that doesn't seem to be working. And then there's also this kind of feeling like Republicans are just like, well, let's just pretend like they're like everybody else, which of course doesn't work because they're not like everybody else. And so you end up in this scenario where both parties don't really understand it. And Latinos are the least racially polarized and the most likely to be independent voters. They're the least likely to be registered with a party of any major ethnic group. And it's growing so fast, Molly, that we're witnessing this de-alignment. They're moving away from both parties and they're
Right.
punishing whichever party is in power. So, yes, it's increasingly going to be this swing voter that is not voting for a party, it's really voting against a party.
So this gets us back to this idea that the Republicans dropped the ball because we are seeing people vote again, right? We're seeing this
Yeah.
anti-incumbent
Yes.
hostility.
Mhm.
So if you were a Republican, if you were Donald Trump and you had been watching what happened with Joe Biden for 4 years, you had been running on this idea that Joe Biden was old and Donald Trump was young, a completely insane statement because they're both very close in age. Wouldn't you have been a little bit prepared for the idea that the anti incumbent sentiment might come and bite you when you were the incumbent?
Yeah, except I don't think Donald Trump lives in that reality, right? I mean, look, if Donald Trump had just gone golfing at Mar-a-Lago instead of like Liberation Day and tariffs and wars in the Middle East and like Epstein-files, all he had to do was go and golf and he could be building his Arc de Trump and,
Mhm.
putting his name all over whatever currency. He would be sitting in the mid high 50s right now in support
Right.
levels.
Right.
But he didn't. He can't help himself. And the Republicans, of course, fealty has become the driving, animating characteristic of the party. So they're going to go lockstep with it. But what happened, Molly, was after the Epstein stuff, you start
Right.
to see this break. And
Right.
and this break starts to happen with the influencers, the right wing, influencers. It's the fight between Tucker and Megan and Candace and Mark Levine and Shapiro. And I hate myself for knowing who all these people are
Oh,
because it's
yeah.
not it's not even ideological. It's like this high school, middle school spat. And but that's the animating politics of the Republican Party. And so without that, what happens now is you're seeing Donald Trump's base level support level. He's at 68% approval amongst Republicans.
Yeah.
Molly, in 10 years of watching this every morning, waking up, having my coffee, looking at this number, trying to figure out how to break it below 88, he's now 20 points below anywhere he's ever been before, ever with Republicans.
and Republican leaners too, right? There are the
Correct.
indie Republicans. Explain that to us because that's a group that he cannot win without.
That's even more damage. I mean, it's all damaging, but let's talk about
Right.
independence for just a second. We know that a lot of people will say, I'm not either Republican or Democrat, but we also know that demographically, for example, an older white homeowning male who's saying, I'm independent is going to vote Republican 90% of the time. The
Right.
same way a young Hispanic woman in Santa Monica, California may be independent, but she's going to vote for a Democrat 90% of the time. So these are leaners demographically. We know how they're going to break. But these leaners, these Republican leaners, are at a historic low. And when I say historic,
Yeah.
it's worse than George W. Bush in Iraq. It's worse than Jimmy Carter stagflation. It's worse than Nixon Watergate.
Yeah.
We've never seen numbers this bad. And so that historic break with just independence, even if he were holding the Republican base, which he's not, he would be in deep, deep trouble. But he's losing core Republican MAGA constituency now, and that's why it's Katie bar the door.
I want to talk about why he's losing them because the Epstein files fiasco was this first break. And you saw Pam Bondi is no longer employed basically because of that, right? She did the
Yes.
binders. It
Yep.
got everybody in that MAGA world very excited. There was nothing in there. And then she went into a sort of tailspin. She did this hearing where she said, why won't you thank Mr. Trump for the Dow at 50,000, which was like a little too North Korean propaganda, even for Trump. Discuss.
You're exactly right. The break point is the Epstein files because what one of the animating characteristics again of Trumpism is his visceral hate for Democrats.
Right.
So much so that they paint them as pedophiles. There's nothing worse you can be than somebody who abuses children, right?
Yes.
And it's all in this conspiracy about the Epstein files. And
Right.
like everything in Trump world, it's projection. And so that becomes the focal point of this reelection and keeps the base together. We've got to go get the demonic, horrible Democrats who are trying to like eat our children and do all these bad things. Well, once he turns on that, once he betrays them on that, everything else becomes suspect. And then suddenly all these bad policy decisions, whether it's Venezuela for no real good reason, or whether it's monetary policy, whether it's attacking Canada or threatening to invade Greenland, and then certainly invading Iran with no objective, no mission, and no exit strategy, people realize this has all been a ruse. Like,
Right.
look, it took a lot of people to get out of the cult, but once you're out of the cult, you're not going back. And that's where he's at. That's what the problem is, and that's why the likelihood of this getting far worse is much greater than it getting better for him.
Right. And that's so let's talk through that. So you had these influencers. Those influencers are not Walter Cronkite. They are sticking their finger up and being like, my people are mad. And that's
Yeah.
why they're turning on Trump, right?
Yeah, they're gonna you can't defend the indefensible anymore, and that's the
Right.
problem. And what you saw was that Candace Owens and the Tucker Carlson seized the opportunity to be like, okay, the gazelle is wounded on the Serengeti. Attack him now. Now
Yeah.
go after him, and they become the predator, right? But at first they were getting followers by being part of the cheerleading crowd and the rallying it on. Once he's wounded, and they I guess hat tip to them for understanding, having a finger on the pulse of where this was going and realizing he's done. Like he's
Yeah.
mortally wounded. This is
Yeah.
a bridge too far. They turn on him. And Tucker Carlson, like you're going to start seeing his numbers moving up in this next presidential discussion very shortly. It's
Yeah.
not as high as I would expect it to be right now, but as anti-Trumpism sets in, now that he is the establishment, he is the swamp, he is the liar.
Yeah.
Betrayal is a deep emotion. It's why they hated us Lincoln Project guys so much.
Right.
We were as bad as much as they hate Democrats, it was the betrayers, the
Right.
turncoats. And that's what's going to drive a deep, deep, passionate anti-Trump sentiment. And you're going to have the Ted Cruz's, the Marco Rubios and the JD Vance apologists trying to hold it together, and the old feeble man, still
Yeah.
doing his, crazy talks, trying to gin back support up. It's not coming back. Like they've crossed the Rubicon.
So let's talk. I want to do another minute with these Trump influencers because you have to explain to us what happened with Ben Shapiro because I think Ben Shapiro for these people is a real cautionary tale.
So remember, Ben Shapiro literally catapults during the rise of Trump in 2015 as an anti-Trump voice.
Right.
He's the one who is saying this is not conservatism, this is bad, this is going to go wrong. He then, is one of the first people to turn and genuflect and say, "Okay, I get it. I lost. I was wrong. I got the feel of the Republican Party wrong," and becomes this Trump acolyte, and
Yeah.
and is the beneficiary of that. That becomes, part of this fissure, which is not really as much ideological as a I believe it's a network disagreement. What I mean by that is the following sticks with Ben Shapiro until somebody else's network starts to get bigger. And in this case, it's Tucker Carlson, this fight between Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro, presumably on Israel, although it's really
Right.
about a bigger world view. It starts with Israel, but now it's going to become about monetary policy and about America first and protectionism and nativism and who's American and who's not.
Right.
And so it starts as this Israel, Gaza story, but it's really a deep, deep demarcation line where we used to have moderates versus conservatives. It's now about two different worldviews of our engagement in foreign alliances and who's pulling the strings, as they say, and the protectionist America first isolationists, which is Tucker, saying you MAGA, you were never wrong. We never should have got involved in this. You were betrayed by Trump. You were
Right.
betrayed by Ben Shapiro. They suckered us into this. So you don't have anything to apologize for. They're to blame. And that's what I think is so appealing about what Tucker is doing and why Ben Shapiro is spiraling and collapsing right now.
I also think, I mean, I'm no fan of Ben Shapiro, but clearly anti-Semitism is playing a role.
Huge,
Yeah.
huge. Broadly, by the way.
Yeah. Yes, broadly.
We're in a moment where there's danger signs and red alarms going off and saying, anti-Semitism is a unique hatred because it's the sign of coming hatreds beyond that.
Mhm.
It's always the first, but it opens the door to everything else, and that's what that moment has been, and it's across both parties.
Yeah. I though it's much worse on the right. I mean,
For sure,
it's
for sure.
yeah. I mean, I definitely think I certainly see shades of it on the left, but not the same. Now,
Oh, just watch X. Just
yes.
scroll through
Yes,
X for
watch.
five minutes.
That's right. Now, I wonder if we could talk about uh we're talking about like how Trump found himself in this moment where he was no longer controlling the narrative. And I think it started with Epstein, then it was this wild foreign war adventure stuff. And I remember being on television the day before the Venezuela thing
Yeah.
and saying, well, Trump will never go to Venezuela because he hasn't tried to sell it at all to the American people. And even Republicans try to sell a war before doing it, and I was completely wrong. So I just want you to explain what you think happened there and then how it got us to Iran.
I think properly understood, it's Donald Trump think he had already sold it. He thinks that's what
Yeah,
the campaign was. Hegseth becomes a Secretary of War, not Secretary of
right.
Defense. Like, we're going on the offense. And he believed that the
Mhm.
election was a mandate for that. And so in his mind, he had sold this, muscular, foreign policy that America is going to be America again. And we're going to go start taking stuff
Right.
as a way of defending, our currency and taking on the Chinese. He starts flexing against Greenland, right? Well, let's start negotiating. We'll buy it. If not, we'll take it. He slaps Canada in the face. He starts, dropping, signs into Mexico with the cartels. Like, this is all ours. It's all ours. It's just a matter of
Mhm.
sequencing. I look. He's still going to take Cuba, you know. And I think Taiwan becomes just a chess piece. Like, are we going to really defend Taiwan now with as extended as we are? No. If
So
she wants Taiwan, he'll take it. And we're not going to do a thing about it.
so let's talk first about what's happening with Iran because
Yeah.
today there was this press conference. Hegseth, basically, there are a lot of people who think that the ceasefire is over and that they're really just doing like military action under the guise of not. And that we're in this moment where Trump is sort of saying something isn't happening that is really happening. That was the net of the press conference I saw this morning. And so I wonder what you think that, like, how is that tenable? And also, the big thing that is making Donald Trump the most unpopular more than anything is the gas prices.
So, first of all, this is not tenable under any scenario. The only possible way he gets out of this, he can't even like wake up today and go, okay, let's pull out and declare victory. His base isn't going to believe that. Even now, because of the Epstein stuff, because of getting into this war, because they feel betrayed. The only possible way I see it is there's got to be a bigger distraction. There's got to be another war he's got to move to say, okay, we'll declare victory. We took care of this. Now we got to go fight this war. No one's going to buy that much, but that's kind of in Trump's world of view. I think that's the only possible escape hatch he can pull. The likelihood of this going all the way to the end of the Trump presidency, I think, is very, very high. And
Right.
as you just correctly pointed out, we are just now seeing the spike in gas prices in a meaningful way.
Right.
Just now, like the last tankers have come into Long Beach in California with 200,000 barrels of oil. That's it. When it's done, the prices are going to spike. Even if we opened the straits tomorrow, there's going to
Right.
be dramatic spikes. So you could see $9, $10 a gallon gas in California. That's like $6, 6.57 in other parts of the country. And as you correctly pointed out, like gas prices that's our religion in America.
Yeah.
Like that, you don't mess with that.
And I think, like, an important caveat is that diesel, for whatever reason, is even more expensive, and diesel is the airplane fuel. So when you have what happened with Spirit Airlines, that doesn't exist in a vacuum. That comes directly from these diesel prices.
Boeing was projecting a $4 billion profit that they've had to come back and revise and say it's gone.
Yeah.
$4 billion is gone with current diesel prices, and it's not going down. So we're hitting the point where the economy is going to start choking. We're choking
Yeah.
the economy right now, and it's all self-owned. None of this had to happen, not one bit of it, and the American people know it.
Yeah. It's interesting because it's like I have I have this theory that Trump is suffering from a lot of the problems of the 70s. I'm not going to say who was president then because everybody of all my listeners love that person,
Yeah,
including me,
yeah,
but he ran afoul of things that were not his fault.
right.
Donald Trump is the exact opposite. He's running afoul of things that are actually his fault, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying if he had just gone golfing at Mar-a-Lago and drooled on himself a little bit, and then we'd laugh and, we'd still be frightened by who he is. But all of this is all his own fault. This is a self-own in soccer parlor, self-goal. Like you scored on yourself. Like this
Right.
is everything he's done, the overreach on the immigration stuff, the ICE raids, the crackdowns, the mass deportations, the mass jackbooted thugs, the tariff policy on Liberation Day, the offending the Canadians, the slapping the face of NATO, the invasions of Venezuela, like the war in Iran, the Epstein-file, literally all of it, Molly
Yeah.
is all a function of his own incompetence. And when you realize it's not just like a bad string of bad decisions, it's just he's not capable mentally of managing this anymore. And he has surrounded himself not with talented people. Say what you will about Joe Biden, the people around him knew how to run the damn government.
I mean,
That's
yes
not the
and
case
no,
here.
but
Yeah,
yes.
fair,
Yeah. I
fair,
mean,
fair.
right. But yes,
But there
for
wasn't
sure.
Pete Hegseth.
Certainly.
But it wasn't
Right.
Pete
No, no.
Hegseth and Kash
Right.
Patel and Tulsi
Yeah.
Gabbard and RFK Jr. Like
Yes, for
these
sure.
were maybe the mistakes, absolutely,
Yeah,
but you
for
can't
sure.
compare the
You
two.
had real government people who knew how to do
Yeah,
government.
yeah,
Yeah.
precisely.
I wonder now, what would you, if you were Donald Trump and you were woke up and were Donald Trump, what would the first thing you would do be?
So here's the real conundrum, and it's a conundrum not just for him, but it's for everybody else, is you have to literally make a 180-degree pivot. You
Yeah.
have to say I made a mistake, which is not in Trump's vernacular. He's literally not capable of it. He'd rather lie about it and make that pivot, but he's still not doing that. Maybe he does, but even if he does, like I said, that believability, that blind trust after the Epstein-files lies is gone. I mean, Marjorie
Yeah.
Taylor Greene left. Like we're out.
Yeah.
Massey's gone. And so
Yeah.
the other Republicans who are looking, these Republican plus 10 districts that are probably going to lose. What's the incentive anymore to defend him? You're going to have to start running away from him. And that's going to be the next round of this by summer is not only are they going to not want Trump out on the stump, you're going to start saying, you're going to start hearing people disagree with him, which you have never seen in the Trump era. This is all
Yeah.
new territory.
And you're gonna and I think it's important to realize that these people they're making the craven calculus that Trump is so unpopular that they have to break with him.
And that's such an important point because again, Trump has always been, we can't live with him, we can't live without him. He is now more demonstrably more of a liability than an asset. That has never been the case in the Republican
It's
base.
crazy.
So now that's going to change the entire dynamics of the Republican caucus. You have Ted Cruz who's already flexing for Iowa. Tucker Carlson is leaning into this. The debate about whether it's going to be Vance or Rubio. Don Jr. is showing up, with walking into the house. Is it going to be Don Jr.? Like Trump is not going to do well when everyone else is talking about who's going to be the next president. This gets more erratic. This gets more difficult. And there's going to be more incentive to be against Trump than for him. And we've never been in that scenario since 2016.
If you're the Republican Party at this moment and you are running against Trump, doesn't that mean that you are coming, like, won't you alienate what's left of MAGA by doing that?
Yeah, and that's for somebody like me, that's the beauty of the moment. We've been waiting for this for 10 years. We all knew this was coming. Lindsey Graham knew this was coming. Marco Rubio knew this was coming. They were saying it. This is the reckoning. You are choosing now between it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. You've always chosen to be with him rather than against him. You are going to see more and more Republicans making the opposite choice. That's what Tucker's doing. That's what Megyn Kelly's
Right.
doing. That's what Candace Owens doing.
But
That's what all these people are
if
doing.
if you're a billionaire like Jeff Bezos and
Yeah.
you've been like basically trying to obey in advance with the apprentice and wanting to do the Don Jr. apprentice and Melania, when do you make the calculus that you were always against this?
You'll make the calculus as late as possible and when there's new leadership because they've got enough money to buy their way back in regardless of who's there. They don't care.
Mike Madrid, really smart, so interesting. A lot of
Thank
questions
you,
that
Molly.
I felt like you really answered for me. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. Great to be with you always.